Big it up, big it up. Hearing my voice. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Notorious NerdyD Casual Wrestling Show, the single greatest casual wrestling podcast on the internet. I am your host and still the notorious pay-per-view champion, NerdyD. And joining me on the ones and twos, working the mics and cameras, is my better half, Level Up Lauren.
What's up, y'all? Each
and every week, we take a journey through the world of professional wrestling, all while learning from you guys, the audience, through your comments on social media. Make sure to like and subscribe to the show on YouTube at Notorious NerdyD Wrestling Show, or subscribe on your favorite podcast network. We are on Spotify, Google Podcast, and on Apple Podcast. Make sure to leave a review or a comment or whatever is available on whatever platform you're listening on. It does help us get into the algorithm. Man, our audio numbers were hot this week.
Yeah.
The best we've had, since we started.
That's awesome.
So that's fun to see. It's fun to see things continue to trend upward as we do this. It's not like we're doing it for nothing. Tonight, we're going to try to fill out the rest of the Wrestlemania final card. But first, housekeeping. I think this week we're going to lay off a Liquid Death. Too much other shit going on to get caught up in the back and forth with those guys. They won't acknowledge us. Fuck them. We'll find somebody else to represent and to give our attention to.
All right.
You know, I don't have time. Keep it moving. I don't have time to keep playing around with those guys forever. It's funny. It was fun for a while. And you guys actually, I heard so much from people coming back and saying, hey, man, I went and bought Liquid Death. And that's awesome. That means people are listening. And one promise I'll make is I'll never try to push anything that I don't actually like on people.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you've got a couple things in the works, right? You've got a couple companies you're talking to for actual like
stuff that we use. That we like.
Things that we like that we've just reached out. We don't know what the hell we're doing. So we just kind of stupidly reach out to people and go, hey, man, we got a podcast. We have people listening. These are things that we use in our everyday life. Mm-hmm. Why don't you guys work out some kind of deal? So we'll probably have a couple affiliate links and things like that where we'll start trying to figure out how to turn this into a business. Because what I don't want to do, and I'm never going to say never because eventually it may get to this point, but early on in the early days of this podcast and this show, whatever it is, because I don't know, is this a podcast or is this a show? I feel like it's a show. We do video, we do segments. It's not really a podcast, it's a show. But early on in the show, I don't want to reach out to our listeners and go, hey, I need money. Give me money, Patreon me, whatever it is. I don't want to do it that way. I want to try to initially maybe, we may start adding some advertisements in or some ad reads and things like that.
Yeah.
And if we do that, that's cool. But early on, I don't want to go after that. Maybe eventually we have to. That seems to be the model that everybody goes to. But early on, I don't want this to cost anybody $1 to listen to.
Yes, sir.
Corey is still the notorious internet pay-per-view champion after calling Elimination Chamber with perfection, called every match, every moment, everything you could imagine. So he is still the pay-per-view champion. I am still the heavyweight notorious pay-per-view champion of the world. And that is since Royal Rumble, Lauren. Just for reference, so you could understand that for that whole time, you won it at day one in January.
I did.
And you left the belt under your desk and you just let it sit there and get dusty, and you showed zero respect to the belt. You showed zero respect to this belt. So that made me have to step up my game at Royal Rumble, collect the belt, take the belt, bring it back home to daddy. And then at Elimination Chamber, almost ran the table perfectly. So we are 39 days and counting right now. We are 39 days into a title run. And that leads me to this belt is a little beat up. This belt has been through the works here. And I'm thinking it's about time to retire this belt right here. And we've had a back and forth, me and you. We've been talking this week. Friday's my birthday.
It is.
Right? And you talked about what I want for my birthday. And I think I want to upgrade our belt to an official WWE title belt. And then we'll get some cool side plates made for our belt, and it'll be the official belt of the podcast, right? We're formally or foremost a WWE podcast. We are a wrestling podcast, casual wrestling, but that lends us to more WWE. So I think it's only appropriate that we represent the show with a WWE title. So my question is to the audience, and we'll put this poll up tonight, and by Friday we'll have made a purchase on this.
Okay.
Which belt do we go for? Which belt do we grab? Do we grab the Universal title? Do we go blue, even though the show's colors are clearly black and red? Mm-hmm. Or do we get the WWE title? I'm gonna leave it up to the listeners to make that decision for us. I know we went back and forth, but I mean, you think that's fair?
Yes.
Let them decide.
I'm gonna say WWE title.
That's the one I like. That's the one I'm leaning to. But if everybody goes Universal, then you know what? We're gonna have to have the Universal Championship on this show. All right. It is WrestleMania season officially. We are in the month of March, and we are quickly rolling up to WrestleMania. And I want to hear from you guys, the listeners. I want to know, what are we doing for WrestleMania? What is the big deal that we're going to do as a show? I don't want to eat up anybody's time. I don't want to go, we're going to do a watch along on Twitch. But I do think it would be cool if there was a way for everybody to communicate while the show was going. Yeah. So I don't know what the hip new apps are, right? There's like Google Chat Room and those things and stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't even know.
I don't even know what they are.
We could do a Twitch, but it doesn't have to feature my face all over it, because I don't even know where we're going to be for WrestleMania. We may be out on the road. We may be at home. But I do think it would be cool for some way for just all of us to be able to communicate during the show there, right? So other question I have is, anybody going to WrestleMania? Let me know if you're going to WrestleMania, because I've contemplated trying to go to one day. Yeah. To go up there for one day and then come back home just to see what's going on. You told me
there's no fan access though, right?
There's no fan access this year, which is weird. There's just a superstore access, right? Ooh. So that's all there is. There's a superstore access or something like that. So I thought about driving up there. It's about a 4.5 hour drive for us. Yeah. I thought about going and checking out the store, maybe buying something while we're there, buying a WrestleMania t-shirt, then coming back home. Definitely not going to go to any of the events this year. Not going to go SmackDown, NXT, WrestleMania. Yeah. Because I think as a show, it's more fun to try and watch this thing with people who enjoy our show. Yeah. Somehow. We'll figure it out. In the next week or two, we'll figure out what we're going to do. I've come up. We've got the first bracket. Bring up the first bracket for the Notorious Wrestling Theme Song Tournament. This is Friday night SmackDown edition. So for the rest of the week, this week, we will be... there'll be a lot of polls going on our channel. Yep. A lot of polls. So if you don't like polls, I apologize in advance. We're going to be doing, looks like with 16 teams, that's going to be 8 polls, right? Yeah. So it's a lot of polls. And then we're going to try and crown by the end of the week. We'll try to crown the SmackDown best theme song. And then for the next 3 weeks, we will figure out each division's champion, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty cool.
All right, let's overreact to some wrestling this week. So Ricochet is the new Intercontinental Champion, and I'm not going to tell you guys I told you so, but I told you so. I called this. I had a lot of predictions right last week. I even got a shout out from somebody on TikTok, shouted me out. That's when this show is fun, right? Is when people recognize that my dumb luck exists, because I don't know shit. I have no inside information. This is purely me as a casual wrestling fan making a bunch of stupid predictions and just crossing my fingers and hoping they come true. A lot of them are based on common sense. Some of them are wild ass predictions that sometimes I get right. But I did call, and I changed my mind about halfway through the podcast last week, because I started off by saying that, oh, here we go, the bullshit of Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. This is going to be stupid. And then about halfway through the show, when I had an article up about Ricochet and how he was the number 2 guy on SmackDown, I changed my mind and go, oh man, that's what's happening here. Ricochet's going to win this belt. He's going to get it off of that garbage match. Well, it might be a fun match. I'm not going to say garbage match. It was a garbage match when it had the belt. Now that the belt's gone, it might be
entertaining,
a fun match, right? But let's be honest. That's what needed to happen. Sami Zayn, we talked about it, much better when he is the conspiracy theorist heel. Yeah. He was throwing the tantrum in the back, telling the cameraman to get away from him. That's Sami at his best, right?
For sure.
And Ricochet is more of the type of guy, he's got the motor where he can defend this belt every week in, week out. Ricochet, I don't know what we'll get to when we get to the WrestleMania predictions. We'll get to what I think they're going to do with him. But right now, there's no clear path ahead. Maybe we'll learn more on Friday about what's going on with Ricochet, right? Secondly, this week, we learned about Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee is official. That was interesting. After Pat McAfee's interview with Vince McMahon, which I loved, I thought it was an awesome interview. I found a new respect for Vince McMahon after I kind of bought into all the hype of people saying he's just a prick and an egotistical asshole, which he probably still is, and he kind of admitted to that a little bit. But you kind of see the human side. Now, he doesn't completely seem human. There are things in his personality that I find to be a little bit like robotic. He doesn't always, like when Pat would joke back with him, it doesn't always look like it computes inside of Vince's head. I think he's always putting on a front for like, I'm Vince McMahon, the businessman. I can't let loose all the time. But I did notice that. But we got Austin Theory coming out to the ring and slapping Pat McAfee in the side of the head. Kind of stuck his head out there for that one, but he got slapped inside the head. The headset goes flying off. Pretty sure Pat McAfee said fuck on SmackDown. I'm not positive, but it did seem like Pat McAfee said fuck on SmackDown.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that. Now, the question I have that I'm asking is, what is Vince McMahon's involvement in this match? Because we got all the rumors, right, that it was going to be Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon, and that rumor had to come from somewhere. So my belief is at some point in time, Vince McMahon gets involved in this match in some form or fashion. We'll have to see if it's Austin Theory trying to prove himself and Vince steps in, or, I still believe, I don't know how long Pat McAfee can do this. And maybe he's just got a motor on him that he could do 100 things. Shout out to Pat McAfee, but I feel like I would be worn out. He's breaking Aaron Rodgers news. He's breaking NFL news. He's got to deal with FanDuel. He's every Friday running around. Half the time he's got to do a Sunday or a Saturday pay-per-view. It's crazy, right? I did want to talk about last week. I made the prediction about Pat McAfee getting fired. And it was a storyline prediction, right? I said that Vince would go on there and fire him. Obviously, I was as far off as you could be on that. But then I took some shit on our social media pages about, what you just have shit hot takes. I don't know. I feel like that's different than a hot take, right? I think a hot take is when you have an opinion that is not of the norm, correct?
Yeah.
When you're just making a wild ass prediction, I don't think that's a hot take. It was a guess, right? It was a fun attempt at guessing what could happen. So I don't like the fact that like when you overreact or joke or make a prediction that people think like they take it so fucking serious. Like this show is just meant to be fun. I'm overreacting to everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that
opinion.
part of it. That's not my opinion. That's a prediction. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the difference. My opinion is things I strongly believe in. My prediction is something that I'm just guessing, right? I'm just guessing what I think could happen. And I was obviously wildly wrong on that. It ended up just being a straight up real interview.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Great interview. Thought it was fun. It did lead, eventually I said I thought it was going to be Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory because the person who stands to gain from all of this is Austin Theory. It's not Vince McMahon. It's not Pat McAfee. They don't need the rub. The one who stands to gain is Austin Theory.
Definitely.
Roman Reigns cut a promo this week on SmackDown. I'm still fired up for this title versus title thing. He's fired up. He's jumping out of the ring. He's screaming. We've seen an evolution in his character. It went from kind of this shaky-footed Roman Reigns who was worried and Seth Rollins had him on edge to now we've got like this alpha, intense Roman Reigns. And like, I honestly believe this right now in March of 2022, this is the best version of Roman Reigns we have ever had in WWE. I think he's at the top of his game. He's sure-footed. He's out there hyped up. He's cutting really high-quality promos.
Yeah.
He's in line to go against the Beast at WrestleMania 38 to take, one of them's walking out of there with both titles.
Yeah.
They may not be unifying the titles, but it's winner takes all is what they've dubbed this match. Somebody's walking out with both titles. I don't know who it's going to be. I know you probably can't, but can anybody who listens name to me a bigger, more anticipated main event in WWE history than this match? There are a few. I get it. I'm not saying this is, but they have done the right build on this match to have me buy in. There was a time a few months ago where Paul Heyman said this was the match to make, right? It wasn't The Rock versus Roman. And at the time I was like, that doesn't seem right. It seems like The Rock's a bigger draw.
Yeah.
But the way they have built up this Roman versus Brock and the way Roman has sold this character of going through like the Seth Rollins thing where he looked a little unsure, the twist of Paul Heyman leaving Roman and then coming back. And then they've sold this story to me in a way where I go, I'm all about this. This is the way I want to close out WrestleMania. I wouldn't have it any other way right now. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, after a long, it's like 14 hours of WrestleMania weekend.
That's crazy.
I don't think they're 7 hours, but they're like 2, 4, or 5 hour shows. It's like 10 hours. It's a lot of wrestling.
That's still a lot of wrestling.
With NXT and SmackDown and Raw. It's the Super Bowl of wrestling. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite wrestler in the world, Ronda Rousey, was back this week, and she was on SmackDown, and she had her first match on SmackDown ever, right? Against Sonya Deville. So it's official. I was told this last week by somebody. I didn't fully believe it, but I guess we've 100% moved on, and we're just dropping the Naomi and Sonya Deville storyline.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Gone. We put all this time and invested all this time into it. I was invested. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest storyline ever, but at least it was consistent for a long time.
Yeah.
All they needed was to figure out, and you could make up the reason. They just needed to figure out the reason why Sonya was picking on Naomi. And you could have just closed your eyes and picked a reason and gave that story just a little more effort, but they've dropped it. It looks like Sonya is going to be part of the Charlotte and Ronda Rousey main event at WrestleMania. I think that's a Saturday night main event. My question is, up until this point, Ronda Rousey has been slightly carried through every match she's been in, right? Or the matches have been fast where she's just made to look extremely powerful. This is the first time in my recollection that in the main event of a major pay-per-view, she's going to be one-on-one with somebody. See, the last time it was Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. So you could hide her just a little bit.
Okay.
This time it's her and Charlotte, and the lights are on. Oh, man, I don't know if she can go an entire main event that is story-driven and really sell the match. Nor do I think she even cares to.
Yeah.
Is this match, how long is this match going to be? Is this a 10-minute match?
I guess
is this a 15-minute match?
That.
Is this going to be a quick ending to WrestleMania night one? I mean, main event, it's got to be a pretty solid timed match. So I don't know. This scares me a little bit for night one.
How long are main events usually? Like at least 30 minutes,
30
right?
minutes seems,
at the very least.
Sometimes 45.
Yeah.
And at WrestleMania, because there's so much time to wrestle.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Now that you put that in perspective, that's something that I never, ever realized until you pointed it out.
I guess if you look at the card, if you look at the entire, I don't think I main event night one with that. I really don't. I think I would have main evented night one with a more kind of wrestling purist match. I might have main evented night one with AJ Styles and Edge. I really like that match. I really think that had a better quality feel. And then maybe open night two with Charlotte and Ronda Rousey.
All right.
Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to leave a bad taste in people's mouth after night one.
True.
And that match has potential to possibly leave a bad taste. Now, speaking of Edge and AJ Styles, Edge came out on Monday Night Raw and cut a promo on AJ Styles because AJ Styles is, I believe, storyline injured right now. I believe. I don't think it's a real injury. I think it's storyline. And they did this weird thing, this weird lighting thing. You saw with the black lights with Edge. And at first I was like, what is this weird shit? Once he got into the ring and started cutting the promo, it was a little eerie. It felt like, it just felt twisted. Edge kind of feels like a puppet master at this point, right? A little bit sadistic. We're going back to like the rated R superstar, the playing the mind games. I don't know why they didn't roll Edge straight into this character after the Seth Rollins thing, right? Because Seth kind of broke him, kind of took him to that dark place. So I don't know why they didn't roll him straight into that. I don't know why it took this long to get Edge back to this place, but I'm fucking excited that we've got Edge back. I'm excited that we're getting AJ Styles back away from this bullshit tag team run that he was in. He almost was in a tag team so long that I began to believe that he was kind of done, right? Like he would never be AJ Styles again. He was just going to be a promotional tool for WWE.
Yeah.
Then he re-signed a deal. They're putting him in a match with Edge, who always performs at WrestleMania. And I think this is going to be a hell of a match. It's my sleeper match for match of the night at WrestleMania. But this also leads me to believe, like, Edge has cut now 2 or 3 really solid promos, right? And in the last year, he's had some really solid programs with a couple guys. And a few months ago, I talked about where does Edge sit in the top 10?
Okay.
Or just in all time, where does he sit? Because I think Edge is slept on. And I think that this final, because I assume this to be the kind of final run, the final frontier of Edge. But where does Edge rank all time? And now let's go like now in March of 2022, where does Edge sit? Can you name 10 better wrestlers than Edge? Our listeners. Off the top of my head, I can't. If I sat down, I probably could. Is he top 10? Is he top 20? Is he top 25? Where does he sit? Where does Edge sit all time in professional wrestling? All right, so let's go into okay. So I got one for you. RK Bro. Let's talk about RK Bro.
Okay.
Because this was weird. I thought Alpha Academy was definitely taking the tag team titles into WrestleMania. I almost put a like 5% chance on RK Bro winning them there. Or winning them last night or whatever night it was, Monday.
Yeah.
The Raw tag team division is stacked. It's in a good place. You got the Street Profits. You got Alpha Academy. You got I know Ziggler and Rude are doing some stuff with NXT right now.
Yeah.
But you got you had Kevin and Seth. So there's plenty to do there, right? But RK Bro, they come out on top. They're going to be kind of the top team going into WrestleMania. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, especially because I believe we're going to get a rematch of the Alpha Academy versus RK Bro. And I've told you how high I am on Gable in the last couple weeks. Yeah. I actually have started to really like Otis. I think they complement each other really well. The sheesh. Thank you. I like all that. I do. They're fun. Tag teams do well when there's an element of comedy in them. That's what I've said all the time.
Those things made me do a 180 on them.
I agree. Gable was boring. And now all of a sudden he's possibly one of my favorite wrestlers. Just quick thoughts on that match. The RKO off of the top rope of the Shooting Star Press by Gable, the fucking talent of both of those guys to be able to pull that off.
Oh, yeah, for
sure.
That
was phenomenal. I was actually laying down on the couch. I couldn't see it clearly the first time. So I assumed what I saw. I was like, oh, yeah, that looked cool. Then when I saw the replay, I was like, oh, shit. The timing on that thing was phenomenal. It was amazing. I loved that. Now, I got to give a shout out here. This is kind of an underhanded shout out to my guy, Andrew, okay? I told you, Andrew, they weren't going to put the belts on Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. I wanted it too, brother. It's what I wanted. I thought, shit, that they make a perfect tag team. They could have an illustrious run with the tag team titles. The comedy's built there. They're Jericho, Kevin Owens 2.0. But there was just something deep down in my gut that told me they've got other plans for both of these guys. And these guys are just filling in. And this is just furthering their story of like, how do they get to WrestleMania? We now know, right? Yeah. Last thing I'll touch on this match was Randy Orton cut a promo after the match. And I don't know if that was scripted. It felt like it came from the heart. But he cut a promo where he reiterated that this is the most fun he's had in professional wrestling in his entire career. And that felt real to me. And I wonder, was that promo cut because he's alluding to the fact that, like, look, this is too much fun. I don't want to break up. I want to keep this together. Let's keep this run going. Let's sell the merchandise. Let's sell the tickets. People are coming to see us. Let's keep doing it. Or was this promo set up to show that, like, Randy's finally turned the corner? He's finally calling Riddle his friend. Now, all of a sudden, Riddle's going to turn on him, and he's going to break poor Randy's heart.
I hope that doesn't happen. I love RK Bro.
I believe the latter. I do believe that that's what the setup is. I believe that there is a plan to turn Riddle heel at some point, and they are planting early seeds on, like, Randy Orton has finally committed to this as a friendship.
Yeah.
And now Riddle can place the knife in his back.
No.
Last but not least, we touched on it, but Kevin Owens ended Monday Night Raw by coming out and challenging. He had a secret plan, right?
Yes.
I've developed my secret plan to get to WrestleMania. My secret, not so secret plan, because I've been talking about it for the last 3 weeks and people have been telling me I'm an idiot. But look, here it is. It's come to fruition. Kevin Owens challenged the rattlesnake Stone Cold Steve Austin to not to a match, to a moment, we'll call it, at WrestleMania. Because he offered him to come on the KO show. And Stone Cold Steve Austin has since then accepted the challenge to come meet him. It will be happening, they've announced, on night 1 of WrestleMania. Okay. And, you wonder, does this bleed into night 2 somehow? I think it does. I'll talk about it more when we get to the burning question. But I do still believe this leads to some match, some kind of match at WrestleMania on night 2.
All right.
And I think how they cover this is in night 1, KO can get stunned. We can do the whole hoopla. And then in night 2, we can have a short match, because by doing that, you blur the lines that, like, Stone Cold had a lot of involvement in WrestleMania, right? He doesn't need a long match at WrestleMania in order to feel like, to feel like he really left impact on the night. All right, let's move to the dirt sheets. So in the dirt sheets, breaking news tonight, not so breaking, I guess. Jeff Hardy officially debuted on AEW Dynamite tonight. So we've been talking about this for a couple weeks. I falsely called it a couple weeks ago when the video was released of him talking at his concert about, like, being excited. Then Tony Khan walked it back because apparently the non-compete was still active. So he had to be like, yeah, no, let's not jump the gun. But the fucking day that Jeff Hardy's available, he's in AEW. Shout out to him. Good for him. He's back with his brother. He looked happy. I believe, I didn't watch Dynamite, but from what I read, there was some kind of storyline that ended with the Hardys staring down Darby and Sting. So this is a fucking emo kid's wet dream. Right? Bunch of motherfucking grown men in all black clothes with nets and mesh and metal and chains, wallet chains, all that shit.
How many of those men are over 40?
They all are.
3 of the 4?
They all. Yes, definitely.
3 of the 4 over like 50.
And Sting, you could take half of Sting's age and give it to Darby.
Exactly.
The median age of that group of people is like above 40. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not counting, but that's another WWE guy, right?
Yes, sir.
And this is the shit that, like, got all the IWC fucks, the green beards and them. They all get pissed off when I say this, but hey, it's another one. Mark it down. Is there a segment on AEW anymore that doesn't feature someone from WWE? And that's okay. I'm not even against it. I'm just going to reiterate the point every time it happens, right? Because we know Cesaro's probably next.
True.
And then the next guy that released, he'll be next. And they'll just keep doing it. And it's not a big deal. The only thing that makes it a big deal was when Jericho and Tony Khan decided to come out and fucking shoot their mouth off and say, we're not going to become a home for, like, the WWE rejects, which they're not rejects. That's the wrong thing to say. They're just guys who couldn't find a home in WWE, right?
Yeah.
But we're still going to say it's another one. That's another one. Put another tally down on the mark. They were like, oh, it's only 40. There's only like 14 or 16. Hey man, everyone that gets added, that's another one.
Yeah.
Second story, WWE 2K22 released this week. There's been a lot of initial thoughts going around the internet. It appears that the reviews on this game are highly positive. I see a lot of people, still some bugs in the game. Still a lot of people like the game. My full thoughts, I want to do a separate video on my full thoughts of the game where I deep dive and really break down what I think about the game. I'm not going to do that here. I'm not going to do 20 minutes of WWE 2K22, but I do want to make a video where for anybody who listens to me and plays the video game, you can hear what I fully think about it. Quick reactions to the game. I do feel like it's a very good wrestling game. It feels a little bit more like a fighting game than a wrestling game to me, but that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. It feels like a lot of back and forth. I don't feel like you could just kind of spam the game like you used to. It relied so heavily on like who could conserve the reversals. Yeah. And things like that. It does feel, it's a very good game. It does feel a little bit outdated to me. When I look like, and I get that you can go in and you can go through the custom creator, and like night one, I spent 4 or 5 hours just updating people's attire, hair color and things like that. But that doesn't feel like that should be a me job. No. If I can do that, why can't 2K do that before the game comes out? Why can't they just run in, even use their own custom, content creator and just fix those characters? Sure. 2K, they're going to have to figure out a way to keep the game updated at least quarterly. Because if this game starts out behind a year from now, or 6 months from now, it's going to feel so far behind. Someone told me that, or they mentioned to me that it would be a good idea for WWE to go on a 2-year cycle for games. And then like every 3 months do a quarterly update where they just kind of bring the game back up to time. So you're never more than like 2 months behind.
That's a good idea.
I still don't understand why they can't just add the new music and add the new video packages. That feels like to me something they should just be able to do with like a touch of a button. Yeah. Just drop in an update. I get like new characters. New characters are hard to do. AEW Revolution was this past weekend. I had no part in it, didn't watch it. I'm straying farther and farther and farther away from the AEW product. That's not an indictment on AEW. I haven't enjoyed it. Besides CM Punk and MJF, I haven't enjoyed much. But speaking of CM Punk and MJF, they had a dog collar match.
The fuck?
Yeah, they had a dog collar match, and
what
it ended.
What is a dog collar match?
Let me ask you this: you know nothing about this, but how do you think this match ended? What is something AEW does all the time? What did they end up looking like?
Like they're dying.
No, they were bloody as fuck. They're bloody because every AEW match that has any kind of significance,
were these
people
dog collars with like spikes and stuff?
See, you're fascinated with a dog collar part.
The dog collars got me, but it's because I don't know what happened.
No, so I don't know. I don't understand the dog collars. I didn't watch it. I have no clue what that was. I'm talking about I found an article where there's lots of chatter on social media that AEW might have a blood problem. They use blood now in almost every match of major significance that they want to get like a point across to the crowd. It ends in blood, right? Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Yeah. Jericho versus Gage. True. Bryan Danielson versus Adam Page. There's been many more. I'll go on record and saying it doesn't bother me. I don't care. No. The blood is the blood, and the more you use it, the less impactful it is. I will say that. Every time I see blood in AEW, I'm going, oh, that's what they do.
It's real blood, right?
They cut. They use razor blades and things to cause little cuts. Now, CM Punk was pretty fucking bloody. Oh. His tights and stuff had changed colors from the pictures I'd seen. But look, like I said, I have no issue with it. So I'm not shitting on it by any means. But there are people who are starting to go, this is a little bit of a one-trick pony gimmick, right? Every match that you want me to pay attention to, they want to have a bunch of photographs of the main stars covered in blood. Yeah. Do what you do. Is it a crutch to make the matches feel more special? Yeah, I do think it is. I do. Like I said, every time you do it, it's a little less impactful. Does it affect your sponsorship deals? I think it eventually will, right? Because we already know that like Domino's Pizza had a problem. I don't think you're getting a lot of like younger targeted advertisers, and maybe they don't want it. Maybe they have zero want for that audience. But it does feel like I know that when we bought tickets to AEW when they come to San Antonio next week, right? And if it was a WWE event, we always buy our kids tickets.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When it's the AEW event, I was like, no, it's going to be something me and you do because I don't know what happens at those kind of events, and I'm not trying to scar my kids.
Yeah.
With blood and shit like that.
Is he dead, Daddy?
Yeah, right. Colby Covington, who was successful in his UFC match last week against Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
He has come out and said that he is interested in joining the WWE after his UFC run is over.
All right.
My question to Colby is, why fucking wait? Why wait? At this point in your career, he's kind of at an impasse. If you follow UFC, stay with me. If you don't, I'll run it down a little bit for you. Colby is the baddest man on the planet in the welterweight division, 170 pounds, not named Kamaru Usman. And he's had 2 fights against Kamaru Usman, and he's lost both of those fights. They've been decently good fights. But in UFC, man, you usually don't get a third fight. You just don't usually get it. So he's kind of in this weird in-between world. He's challenged Dustin Poirier, but Dana White kind of came out and was like, that doesn't really make sense. But what I'm getting to is here, why not do it now? Make the jump. When you're still in your prime, don't wait till it's too late. You know, like Ronda made the jump, but after you've been knocked out 2 or 3 times, you lose a little bit of that like magic, right?
Yeah.
Colby's still kind of a bad enough man that if he made the jump over to WWE, it would be like very respectful because he's already got the promo ability.
True.
This man on a microphone is phenomenal. This man is a Division I wrestler, world champion. So he's a wrestler. He knows how to work a microphone, right? If Colby Covington joined the WWE right now, today, he's top 5. I believe he's a top 5 superstar in the WWE if he joins right now. And my guess is very quickly he becomes the biggest heel in all of professional wrestling if he joins.
Yeah.
So my question, make the jump, Colby. Why wait? Don't wait too long. You can, there's a shelf life on UFC. You can only get hit in the head so many times. And Colby takes quite a bit of damage. He stands in front of guys. Why not get out now and you could go just do something else? And there's longevity in WWE. I don't know how old Colby Covington is, but he could probably do it for the next 10 years, WWE, and do it at a very high level.
For sure.
Last story of the week. Keith Lee came out and commented on Vince McMahon told him what he thought about him. And Keith Lee's kind of said, based on that, why he thinks he was released from WWE.
Okay.
So Keith Lee came out and basically said that Vince McMahon told him, you're too smart for your own fucking good. Or you sound too smart for your own fucking good. And if you've watched Keith Lee, he is a more intelligent, big wrestler, bigger guy, right? But my question is, I'll go with that, right? If that's what he believes or if that's what he wants to believe. But he's kind of quick to omit the other reasons that WWE possibly could have had to get rid of him at the time, right? Surely it had nothing to do with him gaining a ton of fucking weight, right? Because he's already a bigger guy and he got noticeably bigger and not bigger like muscular. He noticeably gained weight while he was in WWE. And it couldn't have anything to do, and this is probably where they go with the smart guy thing, but he has a very weird promo cadence. He doesn't talk like a big scary person, if that makes sense. And in wrestling, that's kind of what a big scary guy kind of has to do. Even if, I don't give a fuck if you're the smartest guy alive, if you're Braun Strowman, if you're Omos, if you're the Big Show, intelligence should not be what you're hanging your character on. You got to be at least, you could be smart, but you got to learn to embrace that big, like, scariness that you have. And Keith Lee has that. He talked about, in the article, he talked about Vince wanted him to seem more angry and that he didn't know how to seem angry unless the story called for it. That doesn't work for me, right? If you need a fake reason to be fake angry, you've got a problem. You should just be able to be angry. Fuck it, for no reason. Be angry at Vince McMahon and just go out there and be angry, right? Because wrestling skills are such a small part of the equation in professional wrestling. I talk about this all the time. This is where the argument between AEW and WWE comes into play a lot, right? AEW is the wrestling promotion. WWE is the sports entertainment promotion. That's fine. But in both companies, man, you need some kind of gimmick. AEW's got Giant Dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
WWE had the Dead Man, the Undertaker. That's all. That's forever will be a part of wrestling. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, on Keith Lee, let's talk about, because this is the problem. A guy who goes through the NXT system, right, and gets called up to WWE.
Yeah.
He's knocking on 40's door. He's 37 years old. So if you're 37 years old, you're just getting called up to WWE. They're trying to figure out what your gimmick's going to be. You're struggling to catch on. He got COVID. He had some heart issues. At that point, I think WWE's cutting their losses going, what is your shelf life? Like how long could you even be successful if we do get you over? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think WWE gets rid of people almost for those people's benefit. They're telling them, we don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
We don't know how to make you successful. And even if we do, all this effort we're going to put into you what is that going to benefit us in the long run? How's it going to benefit you? And I think the problem that wrestling, that the IWC doesn't see, that casual wrestling fans, I don't think they see it, but I think it's like a subliminal thought inside of casual wrestling fans, right? Is they go, well, if he leaves WWE, he has to go to AEW and become a big name, right? Because you would only make that jump. Even if you're fired, you jump over there and you're going to be a big deal. He's going to be a mid-card guy in AEW as well.
Yeah.
He's not. I talked about it last week. There's just not enough spots in AEW for all these guys that the IWC loves to go over there and have this illustrious big career. Same with Cesaro, right? Mm-hmm. If Cesaro makes the jump, he's a mid-card guy. Unless
they start making their shows like 3 hours like WWE.
Even then, though, there's still too much talent on AEW's roster. AEW has a ton of fucking talent. They do. There's nothing wrong. I mean, nothing wrong at all, but they have a ton of talent. They have a backlog of guys that need to be pushed to the top. And Keith Lee's not on that short list. He's definitely not on that list. All right, let's get to this week's burning question. A little early there, trigger finger.
Just had to be on top of it.
A little early there,
you didn't know what was happening.
You were ready to go. I saw you were itching. You were itching to get that. So this week's burning question is, basically the question is, what is going to be the final card for WrestleMania? The 38. We're about 4 weeks away. I wanted to try to play Booker here and try to fill in the few blanks. It seems like the card's pretty flushed out at this point. Here's what we know at this point for sure, right? We know we got Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, title versus title. That's going to be a banger, right? Yeah. We've got Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. That's the main event of night one. That is the match on this card that I am most skeptical about. Okay. This one worries me because I go, can Ronda go? Can Charlotte carry her that far? Because it's going to be Charlotte carrying her a little bit. And everybody knows my opinion on Charlotte Flair. Had a few people who've said unfollowed every time I say this, but fuck you guys. I need to clean out the follower list. I don't think Charlotte's that girl, that woman. I don't think she's the number one. Oh. We have Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Cool. Okay. Becky got hurt this last week, fractured her throat box. That's fucking scary. Ooh. She fractured, but clear says
you don't need to talk to wrestle though.
Well, she does. She does because she's very good on a microphone. But apparently she's going to be back in 2 weeks. Okay. Can Bianca sell that story without Becky there? I don't know. This is it. Like, this is put up or shut up time for Bianca Belair. I've been singing the praises of Bianca Belair, and she's a great baby face. But without Becky Lynch there to antagonize her, can Bianca sell this moving forward? I think so. I think she'll do it enough so that when Becky returns, they can just, kind of wrap it up with a bow and make it look good. We have the Mysterios versus Logan Paul and The Miz. Yes. I'm all about that. This is a fun celebrity match. Yep. Kind of wish it wasn't Dominic Mysterio, but fuck it. That's who we got. I would like Rey Mysterio and maybe if they could have got anybody Logan else? Or Logan and Jake would have been fun, right? Yeah. Against each other. That would have been pretty cool. That would have been pretty cool. But we got what we got, and I'm all about it. My sleeper match, we have Edge and AJ Styles. I've gone on record numerous times. Love this. This is going to be a big match. Sleeper match of the night. Okay. Number 6, we've got Zelina Vega, Carmella versus Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan versus Sasha and Naomi. This is the mandatory kind of fucking throw everybody in who doesn't have anything else to do. In a second, I'm going to tell you why I think there's more to this match than there already is.
Okay.
Number 7, we've got Corbin versus Drew McIntyre. This has been building a long time. It's good to get to the end of this thing. But, they've put the effort into this story. And we'll finally get Corbin and Drew McIntyre. Hoping Corbin goes over in this match. Mm-hmm. I think he could use a push. But also, if he loses, I hope we get to see like a transformation in Corbin that makes him, kind of takes him to the next level. Number 8, we got Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. That's going to be a good match. It's going to be exciting. I don't know how great it's going to be, but it will be exciting. Number 9, Sami versus Johnny Knoxville. I'm all about this now that the Intercontinental belt is gone. And then number 10, we have KO and Stone Cold on the KO show. Mm-hmm. Those are the official matches, right?
All right.
10 confirmed matches. So let's try to fill in the card now with what we think is obviously missing from this card. The most obvious thing missing from this card right now is that we've been flirting with Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in a rematch for the United States title, right?
Yes.
And so it seems like that almost is booked without them saying booked. Question though, this seems like the perfect setup. Damian Priest is kind of the evil, right? Mm-hmm. And what happens when Finn Balor gets brought upon evil? We get Demon Balor. So I'm guessing that this match at WrestleMania will be Damon Priest versus the Demon Finn Balor.
Ooh, that'd be
and
a good
that's
one.
a big match. Anytime the Demon comes back, it makes it exciting. Last time we saw the Demon, there was a fucking whole... Ooh, I don't know if you can say fucking before you say that, so I'm going to take a break. There was a holy intervention in the match where the ropes break and he fell into the ring, if you remember that.
Just got that.
Against Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Number 2 on my list of things that we're going to fill in the card with, the Usos need a match, don't they? I mean, it feels like they have to be a part of WrestleMania.
I mean, why wouldn't they be, right? They've been part of this all year.
And then they've been a big deal. So where I have them booked out in this is they attacked Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura before Roman Reigns came out to give his illustrious promo. So I feel like that was just kind of a wink and a nod at like, oh, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to build something here. Mm-hmm. Right? And it makes sense. Boogs and Shinsuke need something to do. The Usos need something to do. Four wrestlers that I enjoy watching. There won't be hardly any fucking rhyme or reason other than wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
But you need a couple of those bullshit matches, right?
Yeah.
Number 3, we have RK Bro. If we're adding an RK Bro match, it's got to be Alpha Academy, right?
Yes.
It's got to be a rematch.
Yeah.
Because Gable and Otis have done a damn good job at selling themselves as viable champions. Riddle and Randy Orton definitely still viable as a tag team. I do believe, I told you earlier, I think something happens in that match where Riddle maybe cost Randy the match, or we see some bickering leading into the match. Maybe we get the turn right there. And then it builds towards like a SummerSlam thing. Is that too far away? August, April, May, June, July. Oh, that's pretty far away. But I think inevitably we're leading towards Riddle and Randy fighting each other at some point. And this could be the first crack in that armor, right?
Yeah.
So number 4, we have Ricochet. Ricochet just won the Intercontinental title. So I have right here Ricochet versus blank. I went through the whole SmackDown roster. There's almost nobody left. No, and that's not a joke. There's almost nobody left that would make sense to put Ricochet in an Intercontinental title match. So what I think happens here is the inevitable Ricochet gets thrown into some match that he has no business being in as a third wheel.
Okay.
He'll either be added to like a third member of the New Day just for WrestleMania. He'll be put into the...
Oh, that would be interesting.
He might be put into like the Battle Royal, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. But, and this is a missed opportunity, man. They should have put him in a big time match with somebody.
Yeah.
And even who I have next on the list would seem like you could have done Ricochet, Seth Rollins. It's a little bit of a downgrade for Seth Rollins, but Seth could have took the opportunity to really put someone over like Ricochet. So that leaves me at number 5 is Seth Rollins. Who is Seth Rollins? Where Seth Rollins versus blank, right?
True.
And just like Ricochet, I look at this and I go, there's not a lot left. It's like when you're picking teams in PE as a kid.
Yeah.
Right. And you start, I got this guy, I got this guy, I got this. And it's starting to look like Seth's left and there's no partner left. There's no dancing partner for Seth. Roman and Brock, you got Kevin's now out there with Stone Cold.
Gone.
Everybody's matched up and there's nobody left for Seth Rollins. If you believe the dirt sheets, if you believe the rumors, Cody Rhodes is floating around out there.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, that's a big time match. I don't think it's happening. I do believe Cody Rhodes has got some other kind of master plan going on, whether it's with Ring of Honor or something. I don't think the way the split between him and Tony Khan happened, I think that's a work in play in some form or fashion. I don't know. I could be completely wrong about this, but I don't think Cody Rhodes is going to be going to WWE. I think it's more likely that Seth Rollins inserts himself into another feud. Is there some possibility that Seth Rollins aligns with Brock Lesnar? Could they? Why not? So Seth had his opportunity at Elimination Chamber against Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns kind of cheated him out of the match. Is there not a way that like this could come back and Seth's moment at WrestleMania is once again spoiling the main event? He's done it before with the last time he had a contract to turn in, but this time could it just be him playing spoiler? I don't know. The COVID Roman Reigns situation in January really left Seth Rollins out in the cold. It really kind of fucked up his position because the rumor was always that he was scheduled to win that match at day one and become WWE champion. Then Brock won the belt, and I think that planted the seeds in everybody's mind that it was like, oh, we could do title for title. We could do that. So it's left Seth out in the cold. They they have a plan. This is just one of those things I can't sniff it out yet. I don't know. I can't get onto the trail of what they're doing there.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We talked about they always have the obligatory Andre the Giant Battle Royal tournament type thing. Who's going to win that? Who knows? It's probably going to feature guys like Veer Mahan, who's the guy who's they've been featuring him like he's coming soon. Maybe Gunther from NXT. There should be a heavy NXT presence inside that Battle Royal.
Yeah.
It's a good way to get eyes on that product. I tried to watch NXT the other night.
You said that.
It was about a week ago. It wasn't this week's episode. It was the week before. I can't fucking do it. It feels like the kiddie wrestling. And not just in the colors, but like it's like my first wrestling. There's not a lot of cohesion. You definitely see it's people that are still haven't come into their own. And I like to watch like the top of the top, the cream de la cream. I like that. So I can't watch. You don't
want to waste your time.
Yeah, I just don't have the time in my week to watch that. There's a couple cool people like the Cora Jade or whatever was fun to watch. The Nikita Lyons girl was interesting, but yeah, like I can't watch a full episode of NXT and pretend to be excited when it's over. Braun Breaker's interesting. He's cool. At some point he'll be decent on the main roster, but right now they can do their thing. I did see that Dolph Ziggler won the NXT title.
Interesting.
That actually makes that maybe a little bit watchable.
Okay.
And then you got it like right New Day. The New Day has to be a part of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They've been fucking around with Sheamus and Ridge Holland. So I'm guessing that match is inserted somewhere in the card. You have to do that. New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. They broke Big E's birthday present.
Yeah.
They broke his four
assholes.
Remember when WWE used to like wreck Corvettes and milk trucks, and we've now been demoted to.
That was before my time, but I'd love to see that shit.
We've been demoted to like $5,000 four-wheelers.
Yeah.
That were driving around in the stadium, which is probably against like every EPA rule with gasoline and things like that.
Definitely.
Oh, so that kind of fills out the card the way I think I assume it will. Now there's a couple things. I have a couple wild predictions.
Okay.
That are just things that I'll add to matches that are currently already in play. Number one, I think that the Carmella, Zelina Vega, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Sasha Banks, Naomi, I do think that will end up a fatal four-way Wild prediction: the Bella Twins will be the 4th team.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm
down for that.
That match needs something, and I don't feel like, if you look at the women's division on SmackDown, okay, there's not enough women to take Sasha Banks and Naomi and go, oh, we're going to let you guys play around in the tag team division. After Ronda and Charlotte, what is there on SmackDown for those girls to do? They can't fight each other forever. Sasha's got to be next in line. Naomi's got to be next in line. You know, what do you got? Shotzi, Natalya. There's not a lot going there. So I don't think, I initially thought that they'd put the belts on Sasha and Naomi. I don't think they are at this point.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun for the Bella Twins to come back, win the belts, and have a small little run. A program between Carmella, Zelina Vega, and the Bella Twins is perfect. It's a lot of bad wrestling with just like fun characters.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we have the KO show segment with Stone Cold has been slotted into Saturday. Okay. So I assume, this is just my assumption, this is a prediction. This is not a hot take. This is a prediction. I predict that KO and Stone Cold will have the segment on Saturday night. They will come out. They will talk. KO will shit all over Texas. Stone Cold will do his Stone Cold thing. He'll stun Kevin Owens. There'll be a back and forth. And it's somehow going to lead, prediction, to a match at WrestleMania Sunday night.
Okay.
Now, they're not going to build this to be a long match. This is going to be what we thought. It's going to be a little slugfest, back and forth, lots of punches thrown. It'll be a brawler's delight. And it'll be a short match where Stone Cold probably, I'm assuming Stone Cold loses the match. Somehow Kevin Owens cheats.
He's got to.
Yeah. And somehow Kevin Owens comes out with some kind of victory on Sunday night. Prediction. It's a guess. I don't think Stone Cold and Kevin Owens are just doing the KO show. Seems like a waste of time to me.
Yeah.
Not a waste of time. Just doesn't seem like enough for a Stone Cold appearance.
I agree.
All right, let's do a little bit of in the comments Q&A. So new way I'm doing this is I'm only going to answer things that are submitted as a question.
Okay.
I'm not going to go in and pick out. I think it's unfair to go in and pick out random comments of people that have like commented something and then I pull it out. Even I never try to pull it out of context, but sometimes no matter what, it can seem out of context. So submit questions on TikTok or YouTube in question form. Let me know it's a question and I'll answer it. And this will be kind of a Q&A. So graphic number 2.
Let's go.
This comes from Alex Batterton. He asked a question on TikTok using the correct form. It popped up in my questions. He said, do you think every year from now on we will get a celebrity match? Last year it was Bad Bunny. This year it's Johnny Knoxville. I personally wouldn't like it every year. This is very similar to last week's question, I believe, but I'm going to answer it again because that's the question that was asked. But celebrities aren't anything new to WrestleMania. And it's just been an increasingly bigger feature in the recent years. But I can think back for the last 5 or 6 years, 7 years since I had a run where I went to like 4 or 5 WrestleManias in a row. And I remember seeing Snooki, Maria Menounos. I know Mr. T's been a part of a WrestleMania, Floyd Mayweather, Donald Trump was a part of a WrestleMania, Mike Tyson. You mentioned Bad Bunny, Shaquille O'Neal, Rob Gronkowski, even the SNL host, Michael Che.
Yeah.
They've all been a part. So this is nothing new. We're going to, forever. We're going to get celebrities in WrestleMania. They're a necessary evil. They are a name that WWE can put on the marquee that the mainstream, the Foxes, the CNNs, the E! News, the Bravo, all of those channels, they pick up this information and they go, oh, look what WWE's doing. We can talk about it. It gets WWE exposure on different networks. When they use a Rob Gronkowski, ESPN pays attention, right? When you use a Snooki, the E! Network. Maria Menounos, the E! Network, right? Yeah. Donald Trump, you get fucking crazy people. Fox News people. Mike Tyson, fuck it, right? It's a little bit of everybody, but they are a necessary evil. So no time in the near future do I think that we'll ever have a WrestleMania again, especially if they continue to do these 2-day extravaganza, stupendous, superficialist, whatever they call it, events. I think we'll always have a celebrity.
All right.
All right, let's finish off. We're right on time here. I'm trying to stay under an hour. Anything over an hour feels like
We're a
way
little
too
over
much
today,
to watch.
but that's okay.
Oh, are we? Oh, because I
Yeah.
started this clock late.
Yeah.
All right, 20 questions. Let's go. Let's burn through it.
Let's go.
Is this person currently in? And you chose this one, right?
Yes.
This one didn't come from.
Yes, this was mine.
Okay. Is this person currently in the WWE?
No.
Is this person associated with the WWE?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so associated with WWE, not currently WWE. Is it a male superstar?
Yes.
Okay. Has this person ever been a world champion? Let me reiterate, that is either a world heavyweight champion, a WWE champion, or a universal champion.
No.
No. Okay. Has this person ever been a tag team champion?
Yes.
So they have been a tag team champion. So it's tag team champion, non-WWE champion, or world champion. I guess we'll do the other title. Has this person ever held the Intercontinental, the United States, or the European Championship?
No.
No. Okay. Was this person part of the Attitude Era?
No. And I made sure I looked that up.
Okay. So this falls into this weird gray area of my, like, it could be ruthless aggression. It could be the PG, I guess they call it the PG era. You guys almost got me a couple weeks ago. Is this a manager?
No.
Okay, so I can rule out managers. That's a good thing. I thought of a question last week. Oh, is this a comedy wrestler?
Yes, it is.
It is a comedy wrestler.
It is.
Okay, so that narrows it down. That to me, you can kind of go like who's more serious and who's more comedic. So this is a comedic style wrestler. Okay, so if it's not Attitude Era, does this person still currently wrestle, but maybe in a company that's not WWE?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do they wrestle in AEW?
No.
Okay. Do they wrestle in Impact?
No.
How many questions is that?
We are at 12.
12. So I know it's
Yeah.
a comedic wrestler, formerly WWE, still wrestles.
It's a boy.
It's a boy. It's a boy.
It's a boy.
It's a tag team champion. We said yes. Is this wrestler white skinned?
Yes, he is white skinned.
Okay, so this is a white wrestler. The Darby Allin question. Is this person is this a tall wrestler, taller? Is this person taller
than what?
6'3" or up?
Yes.
Okay, 6'3" or up. So it's taller than 6'3". So it's a tall boy. Tall boy. Not a lot of tall boy comedic wrestlers. That's interesting. How do I narrow? I wanted to ask this
You're
question.
At 14, bro.
Okay. I wanted to ask this question last week too.
Okay.
When it's a WWE star, I think this can narrow it down because a lot of people have done this and not won titles. Is this person ever won the Royal Rumble, or has this person ever won? We're going to lump it together in one question.
Okay.
Has this person ever won the Royal Rumble or a Money in the Bank ladder match?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, that cuts it down pretty good. Comedic wrestler. So who's won? Cena wouldn't be considered. Ooh, that's interesting. But he doesn't wrestle right now. Okay, so let's narrow it down even more because I said either or.
Yeah.
Has this person ever won Money in the Bank?
Yes, he has.
Okay, so I think I know where I'm going here. I do believe I know who this is.
Okay.
Because Money in the Bank is a little bit fresh on my mind.
So.
Was this person ever a stunt double for The Miz?
Yes.
Was this person Damian Sandow?
Yes, I do.
Another one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Someone I was really sad to see go in the WWE. So
Underused.
way underused. One of those guys, like Elias, reminds me of Elias a lot.
What the fuck happened to Elias?
Like, where is
Where
Elias?
is he?
Where the fuck is Elias?
Last I
Seth
heard-
Rollins versus Elias,
Oh,
WrestleMania.
yeah, there we go.
Let's book it. Or Ricochet versus Elias would be
Yeah.
fun. Let's just get Elias
sure.
back in the ring. He's still employed by WWE,
Yeah,
right?
I heard he like shaved his beard, shaved his head. That's what the rumors I heard. So.
Speaking of WWE 2K22, though, he is in the game, and like the render for him is a completely like different character than anything he ever was. So it's almost like when they were scanning him for the game, they were going to put in this new character, and then it never got used, but it made the game.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Oh,
But this has been another episode of the Not Too Nerdy Casual Wrestling Podcast. Make sure to tune in every week. As always, I am your host, NerdyD. That is Level Up Lauren, and you can ring that final bell.
Ba-ding.